Awesome. All right, well, let's start. We'll start on our backs today. So let's go ahead and lay on down. You can keep your knees bent. I'll move the camera on my face here. Let's do knees bent. You can close your eyes for a sec. And we're gonna kind of walk the hips down away from the shoulders. Let those feet lay flat. You can spread out your toes a little bit. Let those toes stretch. Allow your hands to rest on your belly, and as you inhale, you can press your belly up against your hands. A few more breaths. Okay, we're going to place the hands off to the side on the mat. Allow your feet to stay down and then just drop the knees off to one side. We'll inhale, pull the knees through the center. Exhale to drop the knees off to the other side. Again, we'll inhale, breathe out to drop the knees off to one side of the mat. One more time through the center, move the knees over. Allow them to rest to the side. We're going to pull the knees back to the center. Inhale and hug them up toward the chest. Keeping those toes all stretched out. Big breath in. You can exhale, send the legs out long and reach those hands as high up overhead as you can. So if you can't get totally overhead, just reach with your healthy shoulder. We're going to slowly allow those hands to circle off to the side, keeping in contact with the floor, all the way back down to our hips again. And then once your hands are on the ground next to you, you're going to take one leg and keep it straight, cross it over the other leg, and then kick up to the side so you can get a big stretch through the hip. Turn the mat here. We're going to inhale, pull that leg in. Exhale as you send the other leg up and over, gliding along the floor, lifting as high as you can. Again, we'll inhale, pull that leg down and back. Exhale to send the other leg up along the floor. And then last time through, inhale, pull that leg in. Exhale, send the leg over to the side. All right, let's pull that leg back to the center. You can cross the ankles and just roll on up or just sit yourself up whenever you're ready. Okay, sitting up nice and tall for a sec. Let's do palms up on the middle of the thighs. You can close your eyes if you want. Let those shoulders be nice and heavy. Elbows are sinking down. We're gonna take a hand, place it down on the floor next to us. Other hand's gonna come up and over. Big side stretch. Take that hand, place it down next to you. Other hand up and over. Come back to the center. You can place those hands, palms up on your knees again. Couple more breaths. Never stop yawning. We're gonna take those hands. You can bring them both behind you. Clasp your fingers if you can. Try to pull those elbows back, lift through the chest. A few breaths. Breathe in, and as you exhale, just let it go. Hold it forward. Let's inhale to draw up. We're going to go forward onto hands and knees. So I'm going through cat and cow to start. So let's place the tops of the feet nice and flat on the mat. Starting with your spine in neutral, we're going to inhale. Lift your forehead and your tailbone. And then you'll exhale to round through the spine. Tucking your forehead and your tailbone. Again, let's inhale, arching through the spine, shoulders pulled down. And then exhale to push up and away from the floor. One more time through both. If you want to hang out at one a little bit longer, go ahead and do that if you prefer one of those positions over the other. All right, so we're going to return to neutral. Let's keep the tops of the feet flat. Walk the hands forward just a little bit, and we're going to set the hips back a little bit high. If you want to sit all the way down on your ankles, you can, but stretching back, a little bit different position than we normally do. A couple of breaths, just stretching out through the shoulders. Okay, we're going to inhale to come forward. Let's take a hand, pick it up off of the ground. If you need to, you can spread your knees out wide and bring your toes together so you don't fall over. But take one hand, stretch it up toward the ceiling. A couple of breaths while we're here. And we're going to thread the needle through. So reach that hand underneath, turn the chest and shoulders to the side, and drop that shoulder down toward the mat. One more breath in, out. So go ahead and pick that up off the floor. We're going to place that hand down, other hand up toward the ceiling. Big twist. Couple of breaths. And we're going to send that hand through. Same thing, twisting the chest and shoulders down toward the mat. Give it 2 more breaths. When you're ready, you can inhale. Let's draw that up. Walk the hands forward one more time. So this time, knees are out wide, toes are together, and we're gonna stretch on back. One more breath. All right, so we're gonna bring it forward. Allow those hands to plant down on the mat. Let's bring the knees in. We're gonna curl the toes under and let's go up into downward dog. So up and back, giving ourselves some height, stretching out the back of those legs. We're gonna do something a little bit harder. We're gonna take one leg, start to move it forward. So sliding it forward toward the front of the mat. So trying to get as close to your hands as you can. We're gonna settle that back foot down flat and pick the whole body up off of the mat. Awesome, take your time. So once you get set up, you'll have one leg way in front, other leg way in the back. There you go. Awesome, we're gonna start by settling those hips under if they aren't there already. Chest up nice and tall, take that weight forward and hands up overhead. And just for an extra stretch, we're trying to turn those hips toward the front of the mat. One more big breath in. We're gonna exhale, move the hips back. You can bring your hands to your hips. Front knee's gonna stay just a tiny bit bent, and we're just tipping at the waist. So we're not gonna go head down on the ground. Instead, just try to move your hips back away from your front leg. So stretching out big here on the back of your front leg. Awesome, now we're gonna relax the back, take those hands down to the mat. Very gracefully, we're gonna send that leg back. And we're gonna go up and downward dog, one more again. So hips are gonna go up and back. Allow those heels to sink. Couple of breaths. Awesome, we're gonna slide the other foot forward this time. Get it as close to your hands as you can. And then we'll push up and away from the mat. Just readjust where you need to. And same thing, we're gonna start by flattening out that pelvis, so tuck your hips under slightly. Chest is up nice and tall. Or turning toward the front of the mat. Weight forward and hands up. Roller coaster. Couple more breaths. Okay, we're gonna bring those hands down to the hips. Same thing, front leg straightens up a little bit, but it's not locked out. We're gonna tip the hips to the rear. Still trying to keep that head elevated. Awesome, we're gonna relax down the rest of the way, stretch the hands down toward the floor. You can walk the foot back. This time we're just gonna be in a high plank. So not in downward dog, back's just gonna be nice and flat. Got our hips down and straight line from the shoulders, past the hips all the way to the heels. So you might have to walk your hands forward just a little bit so that you can get in that plank shape. Awesome, we're gonna try to, if you can, bring one knee forward and then settle down on the mat. And we're going to end up in the pigeon pose. So one leg in front, other leg behind you. Sorry, there's 6 back there. Awesome. So just settling into that shape for a sec, stretching into the hips now. Remember, if you can turn the top of your back leg down, it's an extra stretch here. If it feels too tight, then just let your leg kind of bend off to the side, and sometimes that's a little bit easier on your hip. Breathing in. As you exhale, we're going to start to walk those hands forward, just little bits at a time. And if you find a spot that's a little sticky, it's because your hip is a little bound and you need to hang out there longer, just go ahead. Gonna give this one a couple more breaths. Okay, and when you're ready, we're going to bring it on up. Place your hands down. The same thing, we're going to send that leg back. We're going to go into a high plank for a sec here as we transition onto the other leg. So body nice and flat. So we've got our hips down, straight line from our shoulders, straight through our hips, all the way to our heels. And then we're going to bring that opposite knee forward, settling it down on the mat one more time. So one leg in front, other leg in the back, all kinds of pretzel-like. We're going to settle those hands down, take a couple of breaths, and just settle into that shape. Once again, back leg can either be straight or you can just turn it off to the side. In case you need to relax that hip. Okay, big breath in. As you exhale, you can start to walk it forward, hanging out in those sticky spots a little longer when you need to. Three more deep breaths. Okay, then we're going to bring it on up and push those hands back. And go ahead and circle those legs around in front of us. If you need to bob the knees out or anything, you can. A whole bunch of hip stretching stuff, all close together. Awesome. We're just going to work on the neck for a sec. So find a position that's comfortable. If you want to cross your legs, you can, but out in front of you is good too. Or if you want to have your legs like this, that's fine too. All right, so we're going to drop the chin to the chest. And we're still going to have a little lift in the chest. So try not to, when your head goes forward, try not to let your whole body sink down. Instead, keep the chest lifted and then just drop your chin down on top of your collarbone. We're going to inhale, lift the head. This time, allow your chin to press backwards. So we're not going to lift the chin. Instead, we're giving ourselves a double chin. Chin's going straight back. Okay, allow your head to relax to neutral. One more time, drop the chin to the chest. Keep the chest held high. And lift the head. Press the chin back. It's a little double chin. And you can let your chin relax, let your head relax. All right, we're going to drop the ear to one shoulder. And then through the center, we'll drop it off to the other side. And again, through the center, we'll drop the ear off. If you want, you can add a little weight so you can grab with the same side of your head. Don't crank it down, obviously, but just touching a little bit. Increasing that stretch. And same thing on the other side. So you're dropping your ear, just placing that hand on top of the head. Usually just enough weight, give an extra pull. All right, we're gonna let that go. Let's go ahead down on the mat. Now, if you wanna be on your back, you can lay back on your back. I'm gonna lay on my belly today. So find a position that's comfortable for you. We're gonna relax out these last couple minutes and hopefully your neck feels all right. Lay here for one more minute if you'd like, and then as you're done for today, you can start sitting on up. Alrighty, how's everybody feeling? Good. Awesome. Well, online people, thank you for coming, and we'll see you on Monday.